Heyo, yeah, heyo. Come on now, everybody. Heyo. We're back, folks. Yes, yes, yes. What's that comment say? The clown show? Sure, why not? The clown show's back. Call it what you want. Doesn't really matter. Clown show. It's a clown world. Just in case you haven't been paying attention, it's a clown world. It's a goofy, goofy place. You gotta have a sense of humor. Some of you people don't know what that is, which is fine. It's a journey. We're all on a journey. You'll get it eventually. You're going to learn one way or another. Life has a way of doing that. I mean, you could be stubborn. You could be a stubborn fuck. You think you have it all figured out and you know better. Arrogant, egotistical, self-centered. Keep it up. See how that works out for you. All right, let's wind it up. Let's wind it up, everybody. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, what happened? Sometimes I wake up, it feels like somebody just like came along during my sleep and just kicked me in the head with like a steel-tipped military boot, like a jack boot. Maybe it's the effects of the metaphorical jack boot to the head that we're all receiving from our friendly controllers. It's like a jack boot kick to the head over and over again. What's that quote from 1984? It's like a boot to the face over and over again. I'm paraphrasing. Thanks, guys. What's going on? What are they feeding us? You can't breathe the air. I mean, I live in New Jersey, guys, and you can imagine the air quality's not the greatest under normal circumstances. And then this summer, it was just like, I don't know what they were doing. It was just like wildfire smoke constantly all summer, coming from God knows where. Every day, spraying the skies. 9 out of 10 days. Just a vanilla sky most days. And I'm like looking up. I'm like just grabbing random people in the street. I'm like, you see that up there? It's like a grid pattern of that stuff coming out of the back of the plane. And then the grid pattern slowly diffuses and just kind of amalgamates to form a gray veil in the sky. You see that? Like, what's up with that? And they're just like, what? What are you talking about? Get away from me. Mommy, get the strange man away from me. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'll just keep to myself. I'll just keep it moving. Don't worry, guys. Ugh. Humanity. This is gross. We're so gross. I mean, now I get it. Now I know why they called us useless eaters. at least at one point in our existence, we could be at least used as converting organic matter into compost fertilizer. Which, if you're going to take a strictly biological approach, maybe that's our purpose if you look through their lens of science. If you really think you just evolved over billions of years into the complex organism that we call mankind, if you think that, then your only purpose really, besides reproducing, to produce more of you, is to basically consume food and then excrete it out into organic compost. That's basically your function if you're going to look through their model. And hey, who knows? Who am I to disagree with them? Looking around today, I don't see much else going on with so-called humanity. But not you guys. You guys are here. Maybe some of you can think. Although, but my comments and my, over the last couple days, I'm not sure how many of you guys can even think. Oh, what's going on with you, Z? What's going on with you? Did you sell out? One comment I got was, did you sell out to Dave Weiss? It wouldn't be Dave Weiss that I'd be selling out to, guys. Dave Weiss is not the head of the snake. You understand? I know he's small hatty and everything, but he's a low-level minion. It's not about Dave Weiss. Dave Weiss is a pimp, all right? I didn't sell out to Dave Weiss. He wouldn't even be the one to sell out to. You guys got it all wrong. Let's remember who the true head of the snake is. Yeah. Not Dave Weiss. The true head of the snake. No, not Scarface. Karen B. The Flat Earth Scarface. She's the one that truly gets me shaking in my boots. I'm not worried about David Weiss. I can handle David Weiss. So no, Z didn't sell out to Dave Weiss. No. Z knows who his real challenge is. The final boss. That's right. I was over on Karen B's show yesterday. She had that coffee talk. And I was thinking about calling into her show. But I played that scenario out in my mind. I don't think it was going to be, like a fruitful endeavor. I didn't think it would end well for me. Just put it that way. And if you recall from yesterday's show, David Weiss himself confirmed that it is truly Karen B that sits atop of the Flat Earth Syndicate. Ruthless. But somebody's got it. I understand, Karen. Karen, you and I have more in common than you may know. I may indeed be your greatest ally, Miss Karen B, the Queen Bee, Because I realize that heavy is the head that wears the crown. And that with great power comes great responsibility. I understand these things. Hey, let me start the show. The flat world is yours, everybody. You can learn a lot from Karen. You try running a syndicate. See how you do. You're probably not going to do well. It's not as easy as it looks. It's just not. First you get the flat earth money, then you get the power, then you get the women. It's not easy being Karen B. It can be. You guys want to say Karen B is like a flat earth grifter and David's a flat earth grifter? You guys really think that's like a very profitable endeavor? I've seen you guys. You think flat earthers are like rolling in money? No. If you're gonna grift off somebody, like flat earthers are probably not the greatest prospects. Yeah. All right, let me start the show. This is too much frivolity here. I gotta do a show. I can't just do this all morning. Let's get it started. Let's do the damn show. Crikey. Then we'll see who's here in the chat. Can't just be this selfish with everybody's time. I just can't engage in this ballyhoo. It's just too much. We need to be serious. So people tell me, don't joke about the truth. It's not a joking matter, don't you realize? All right. Let's get it fired up. There we go. Hola. ¿Cómo está? Let's get the opening going. What's wrong with my StreamYard? Why is it like strobing out on me here? It's all right. As long as my audio is coming in. You see, now do I leave the studio and come back in? No, I'm just going to go with it. Like I said, as long as my audio is good. Fucking production. I need production value. So what, guys? So what if I merge with the syndicate like you all think I'm doing? Maybe I'll have production value. I wouldn't mind some of those Dave Weiss shekels for some production value. Come on, Dave. God. Let me pull this up here. Yeah, you tried doing it. I see you criticizing me in the chat. Actually, I'm not even looking in the chat, but I just know there's at least 2 or 3 people going to be criticizing me, so I'll just talk to you. You do this with no production value. Let's see your show. I want to see it. All right, let's get started. Ready? Good morning, everybody. Grand rising and grand approach. And welcome back to Z Show. My show, not your show. That's right. Hate if you want. I don't care. I'm still here. Welcome. And we're broadcasting live and in living color apparently in some kind of strobe. But the strobe only seems to be on my end because I'm looking on the YouTube feed. It's not there. So that's good. I'll just deal with it on my end. Where was I? We're live and in living color, broadcasting all around the level horizontal realm that we call Earth. That's right, Earth. That seems to be, I mean, at least to me, just like a projection of my own consciousness. I know that sounds like narcissistic, solipsistic, and otherwise. But hell, it just seems like it. They call it Earth. It's apparently an anagram for a heart. Is this level horizontal plane just projecting laterally as a monthal equidistant pattern from my heart chakra, just radiating out, causing this whole physical world that we perceive? Are we all doing it together? Are we creating some type of synergy as we're all resonating on some type of consciousness frequency? What do I know? What am I even saying? No, Z. No. Well, I like that story better than the story that other people are telling me. Yeah, no, it's just an accident. Everything just came from nothing, because that makes sense. And life came from non-life. See, there's not life, and then at some point there was life. And it just happened. Are you buying that story? I like my story better, you know? That whole spiel I just said, the spiel about the heart consciousness and synchronous resonance. I like that story better. It actually makes more sense to me than like your stupid story that you're giving me. You know, hashtag academia and hashtag science. Your story that contradicts, contraindicates, and is antithetical. Thank you. I stole that word from Austin Whitsitt, and I'm keeping it. And is antithetical to literally all objective reality and everything that's demonstrable. When you tell me that like accidental, reality can just like get progressively more complex over time and build into progressively increasingly complex structures that could form like the human body and all biology. When you tell me that happens, but it contradicts, all like laws of physics that show entropy, that show that energy tends to degrade to more simpler forms as it diffuses out and reaches equilibrium. Yeah, I don't know. What does he know, though? I'm just a guy in a basement with a stupid 2009 laptop. Somehow still working. What do I know? Just a goofy guy in a black room. So I'm gonna go with like the heart consciousness like story, where like I could just picture myself creating like my own toroidal, field, my own aurora, and that like my own energy body can be considered a micro representation of the larger realm. I like that story better. That's the story I like better. So that's the one I'm going to go with. You go with whatever story you want. All right, who's here? Let's see who's here in the chat. I see there's people here. Calcutta Express coming in early in the morning. Nice. Musical's a secret. Dropping some Dan Fogelberg quotes. Loving it. Braxton coming in early. Woot woot to you. The metaphysician asking, requesting, can we do a non-Jewish episode today? Thanks. Well, I can't make any promises there, Mr. Metaphysician. We'll see. Ruled by Saturn. Yeah, coming at you. Daily Eric. Carrie, USA. Good day to you, sir. Steve, the HMFIC is here. He says, good morning, fuckface. But I know he means that in a very endearing way, so back to you, sir. D'Angelo, as he says, in the house. Mr. Axis Ratblood coming at us. Biz Woofer coming at us from the Badlands of South Dakota. Welcome, sir. Heidi Divine Spirit 313. Hey, SOOS is the clown show. I told you, yeah, it's a clown show. It's a clown world. Who cares? Big deal. Clown world. It's a strange world we live in, guys. It's a jester-like world. I've talked about this a million times. Jesters, goblins, gremlins, gargoyles. That's what's right behind the veil. There's veils to this reality, guys. It's metaphysical. They're laughing. There's elves. You understand they gave you these fanciful medieval-like creatures, fairies and shit. They presented it to you like it's myth. No, that's actually real. Well, what is he saying? No, Z's really lost it. He says there's goblins and gremlins and jester-like clowns and elves right behind the veil, and they're like laughing at us. Yeah, they're laughing at you. I'm just telling you. Oh, what do you know, Z? Big Drink Tea, what's up to you, sir? What's up to you? Squirrel Sniper coming at us with that English accent. Squirrel Sniper's got one of those types of accents that when he just speaks, it just sounds intelligent constantly. Unlike me, I'm stuck with this like Philly slack-jawed, idiot Jersey Shore guy like accent. It's hard to take seriously. I know, it's fine. Nuba's in the house. Talk about goofy accents. Jeez. Steph Davis. The lovely Steph Davis. Much love, Steph. No's in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you. Boston Ray, man, coming in. Says, what's up, Z? What's up, Mud Flood? Good to see you. We found out that your compadre, Mr. Christian Nappy, is going to be coming out of semi-retirement. Who else is here? Boston Ray says, I'm sorry to hear that, Z. But I don't know what he was commenting about. I appreciate that. Boston Ray seems like he has a good heart. He seems like he's an empathetic man. Be careful, Ray. It's tough being sensitive in this world. It's tough being empathetic in such a cruel world. I don't know. I don't want to project onto you, man, but I'm focusing more and more on grounding myself and creating, boundaries energetically, emotionally, intellectually, and otherwise. People don't respect boundaries, Ray. They have to be enforced. It's just one of the unfortunate things about this realm. It seems to be one of life and death that have equal weight and sort of are two sides of the same coin. So anyway, I'll let that. I can go off on that, but I'll let it be. Who else is here? Mateo's here. Mateo. Somewhere in time. Nice to see you, lovely lady. D'Angelo. D'Angelo. Bizwoofer says you were on Coffee Talk. Damn, I'll go back. No, Bizwoofer. I was watching Coffee Talk. And I was contemplating, do I pick up the phone and call in? She has like an 800 number or whatever it is. But I played it out in my head. It seemed like a weak move. You see, Karen and I are locked in a power battle right now, which she intrinsically understands, that I'm going to explain to you guys right now, is that Karen knows, based off, things I've said and things that she said about me, that I've heard through the grapevine. We're like in a power battle right now. And right now, it's like a game of chicken. You don't want to be the one who flinches first. So if I make any moves towards Karen, she's going to instinctively perceive that as a sign of weakness. Because she's the alpha dog of the Flat Earth Syndicate. Right? So, yeah, Bizwoofer. Although I was close to being on Coffee Talk, I decided that I checked with my conciliary. I checked with my, my team, and we decided it's better to just maintain a power position. In any negotiation, Bizwoofer, the one who initiates the first move is the one who's showing they're in the weaker position. It's the art of the deal, so to speak, Bizwoofer. So I knew that if I called in the Coffee Talk, it would be me conceding to Karen. She's a tough cookie, guys. She really is. But who knows, Bizwoofer? Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We can. Karen B now has the best theme music on my show. There's no doubt about it. The producer Moose in the house. Who else is here? Hey, Jackie Fox. Good to see you, Foxy Lady. Jim Pie Peltzer. Jim conjecturing that this blue light that flashes here is me getting my instructions from the Karen B Syndicate each time the blue light flashes. It's hilarious. Oh God, you can't make this shit up. Pythagosaurus Bex is here. Hey Bex. Bex, I was watching somebody. Benton was restreaming you yesterday. I was listening to the Pythagosaurus Bex show. Why can't I find your channel on YouTube, Bex? Hold on, let me just try to put this in now. Because the stuff I was hearing sounds interesting. I think Bex, Pythagosaurus Bex, I think maybe an up-and-comer here. Let me see if I could find her. It's almost like I can see you becoming more authentic in your presentation there, Bex. Which takes time, believe me, I know. But when you let down the pretense, and you're kind of like an open book like me, so I'm not saying you had a lot of pretense to let go of, but I was kind of picking up yesterday, you just sort of coming into you have a fucking weird name. It's hard for me to even type in. Pythagosaurus Bex. Let me try to search it. What are the odds they're going to give me your channel? Oh, they gave it to me. Let me look at your channel. People have nobody knows what the fuck I'm talking about. Oh, you did a 12-hour stream that ended an hour ago and you're here? Wow. What was that all about? All right, I'm going to subscribe to your channel. That way I can check your stuff out. I'll check it out. Maybe I'll drop a link at another time. Much love, Bex. Let's move on. Mateo says you need upbeat music. Yeah, I know. Mateo, I need a lot of things. I need a lot of things, Mateo. But I'm proceeding anyway. There's something called analysis paralysis. It's kind of a buzzword when you're in certain circles. There's a tendency for people to overanalyze everything and it just makes them all fucked up and then nothing happens. Sometimes you just have to proceed, watch things grow organically. I get it, Mateo. How's this, Mateo? When you do the Mateo show, when you do the goofy, like Philadelphia guy show, the ignorant guy who thinks Billy Carson's a really smart guy, and because he's a really smart melanated man who says we live in a globe, that, oh, we must live on a globe. As you do the most basic appeal to authority and consensus, Mateo, on your show that apparently you're going to do, you put the upbeat music in, Mateo. We'll see how well you do on that one. Much love, though. Much love. Who else is here? Papa Will in the house. Let me go a little bit faster. Blah, 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 blah. I try to read all your comments, but it just becomes too much. So now I'm just blasting through the chat. Yeah. Mudflood Ray says, I've seen the jesters, Z. That makes two of us, Mudflood. That's how I know they're there. That's how I got here in this whole thing. You guys want to know, like, where Z came from? Like Mudflood said, he's seen the jet. I was like one of these kids when I was younger that I was, kind of in touch with, like, supernatural things. Just by nature, things would happen to me. I would see things, experience things that I don't have to go into. And at a point in my life, I was trying to like say, what is this? This reality that I'm in, this strange reality. And then I set on a course to try, for answers. Like Mudflood said, what are these jesters, these fucking clowns? What's going on with these goblins and gremlins? Yeah, Papa Will says DMT. I mean, I'm not going to give anything away. I'm not going to just come in here and like just spill everything on you guys. But I'm not necessarily saying DMT, but there's certain, let's say, plant medicines, entheogens as they're called. And we'll leave it there, right? Yeah, see? Look at us, Mudflood Ray. We're becoming BFFs in front of the whole metaverse. Isn't it weird how that happens? Yeah. Heidi says, nothing wrong with the way you speak, Z. Well, Heidi, you're biased, Heidi, because, you're you. You're you. Yeti life. Much love. 3 fingers. Our pool. All right, let's move on. Let's get through the chat. Tilburg, much love. Much love. Yeti life said, told you it would pay off, Bex. Yeti life knows what's up with Bex. She says, thanks, Z. I make public more of my past live streams for you to check out. Yeah. You have a nice voice too, Bex. It's soothing in some ways. I don't know why. It just is. All right, guys. Welcome. Welcome back. We're here for another day. We're here for another day. Some new faces. Somebody's asking me for the link. Who is that? Somewhere in Time? You know I don't put the link out this early, Somewhere in Time. What's with that? I don't do that. She just says link. All right, I'll put a link in. Oh, a link for Bex. You want a link for Bex's channel? All right. I'll put the link for Bex's channel in. She doesn't have a lot of stuff, though. Like, I don't want to... Bex, I'm going to put the link into your channel, but then you're going to have to, like, make sure you come through with, like, more content. Like, don't make me look bad here. I don't want to be recommending channels and then, like, all of a sudden it just be bullshit. All right. Let me put this in here. All right. Link to Bex's channel in the chat. Yeah. I don't know, Bex. You're just on my mind this morning. You seem like you got something to say. Also, your voice kind of like, I can zone in on your voice and sort of, it's soothing to me. Like, there's a little bit, like, I'm not sure I'd want Bex in my ear all day. Like, if we're in a relationship, she kind of seems like she maybe doesn't know how to shut the fuck up. Which in a relationship, for me, wouldn't be great, Bex. But as a content creator, that's good. Because you have the gift of gab. Like, you want to be able to be like that. So, droning on and on and on in your fashion, just like I do. It could be called monologuing. It could also just be a sign of, I don't know, probably some kind of psychopathy, sociopathy. Good for broadcasting, bad for relationships. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe you could speak more to it, Bex. Oh, Smith W says ego. Says the guy with the biggest ego I've ever seen or heard. You're such an attention whore, Smith W. Like, I see your chats. I don't respond to you, but I see a lot of things. Smith is like, oh, I got some great information, but Z won't pay attention to me. All right, fine, Smith. Now's your chance. I'm going to go against my gut. I'm going to drop the link in this early for you, Smith W. Please, you have an opportunity. All right? I'm giving you a moment here. As you say that you're this high-level truther and you have so much information to share and that humanity needs to hear your message. Okay. Okay, I just dropped the link in for you. And I'm sure you're going to give some excuse of why you can't come up because I'm putting you on the spot now. He said, I don't need attention. I just listened to your broadcast. You were reaching for a word, so I was giving you the word you were looking for. I don't remember which word that was. No, dude, you just spam my chat incessantly with numbers and apophonic, delusions. Yeah. Right, Moose. As he says that, like, we're all the ones with the ego. He's probably one of the most egotistical people around. Are you going to come up, Goofy? I don't have theme music for you, which sucks. Do I need Smith W theme music? Oh, I'm working. Yeah, you're working so hard, you can't stop typing in my chat constantly. With workers like you, I mean, I understand the current state of our nation and the Western civilization writ large. Got it. Yeah, exactly, Rolled by Saturn. Working. Goofballs. But you're welcome here, Smith W. You don't have to get in your feelings. Somehow I know this is like a hodgepodge of misfits. Bunch of misfits over here. What are you up to, Moose? Mr. Producer Moose? Last time we checked in with you, you were selling a hotel in Maine. How'd that go for you, dude? Mr. Moose? Boy? Moose man? I guess I can't call you a boy, like you're a father and a husband. Did you make out in that transaction? Just wondering, sir. He said he's still moving. Good for you, Mr. Moosey boy. Good for you. Pale Horse Rider says the Barbie song should be his theme song. I haven't heard that one yet. That's funny. All right, let's take a short interlude as I prepare for our hashtag science segment. Let me get something up for you guys. I can't just play Scarface all morning. I just can't do that. Let's see. What do I want to play for you guys? So many options. I wanted to play Austin Whitsit's music. Do I just go on the fly now and try to find his shit? Let me find it. See, this is where I need the production value. Because less and less are they allowing me to play like standard music and stuff without cutting my stream off. And I said I wanted to find like the Whitsit music because I know the dude makes music with his lovely wife. Unfortunately, I'm not finding it right now. Let's try this way. Plus, I get to promote other people who I enjoy. I played Mudflood Ray's music. All right, so here's Whitsit's channel. That's a start. Let's see if he has a musical playlist. First it kicks it, relatively speaking, debates. Yeah. See what? You need to get your music on a playlist. What's it? Because now I'm not going to be able to find it. Oh, here it is. Yay! All right, let's see. In a World. Let's take us back. Hold on. Let me get this up on here. Put it on my clips. Yeah, I know, guys. We do this live. Sorry, the show's meta. This is a meta show. Where is it? In a World Productions. Remember the good old days, guys, where things made sense, where YouTube just wasn't completely deleting all informational content? Remember when there was like a little bit less censorship? Even a couple years ago. Remember when YouTube was like a place where you could actually find things? All right, guys, I'll be back in a few moments. Don't go anywhere. Much love. Take it away, Austin and Kai.
In a World Productions.
Yeah, coming at you, everybody.
You know the Earth flat? The Earth is flat. The Earth is flat.
The earth is flat.
Oh yeah.
In the last of days, gotta face the truth, this is the masquerade. Waking up the public, time to liberate. Oh, you're doing great when they start to hate. In a world, yeah.
Stockholm Syndrome got me fighting with the slaves. But how they about to face the truth when they can't show their face? Not a system don't control me, yeah, the beast is getting slayed. Austin got the pout, they look sour, oh behave. But I'm about my father business, witness, he gon' get this praise. I ignore you cause it's poor, only thing that I obey. I ain't with the social distancing, but I'ma need my space. They be boring me with quarantine, so stay up in your place.
In the last of days, gotta face the truth, this is the masquerade. Waking up the public, time to liberate. No, you're doing great when they start to hate. In a world, yeah.
I'm sorry we didn't go to the moon, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't lie to you, bro. I'm sorry. I think it'd be cool if we went to the moon too. It was a cool story. I'm sorry you got triggered. In a World Productions.
In a World. Yeah. Nice stuff, everybody. Good stuff, Mr. Austin Whitsitt. And Kai. I think her name's Kai. Good stuff, sir. But I will have to say, Austin, I mean, I get it. You're in a lovely relationship. You have a lovely wife, family now. You have a child. But Austin, I mean, talk about relationship goals. I mean, did you have to set like such an impossible relationship standard for like all the rest of us? Like Austin's like, oh yeah, you could just be a flat earther, tell the world the earth's flat, kind of carry the whole flat earth community on your back. While at the same time, like securing a lovely wife who appears to be, you know, very adoring. And thanks, Austin. Thanks. Thanks for setting an impossible standard for the rest of us. Now Z's got to be like, why can't I have a wife? Like, Like Austin's wife. Like I look at Christy Lee dolls. I'm like, she could probably fit that role. But I'm like, she doesn't want a guy like me. She wants like a guy like Austin Whitsitt. She wants the alpha dog. I guess you just got to be the alpha dog. All right, Whitsitt. But much love. All joking aside, much love. Much love. Christy Lee Dolls is asking me a question. She says, Z, can you and Bro Sanchez collab? Well, I don't know. Can we? Maybe. May we? Should we? I don't know. He doesn't know who I am. I've never been on a show. To my knowledge, he doesn't know Z. I like Bro Sanchez, Christy Lee, but he's not. I'm not on the Bro Sanchez vibe. Ooh, sorry. Does that make me racist? I mean, I get it. Like, I like what he's doing and stuff, but I don't think he and I would vibe. She says it would be epic. I don't know. I don't think it would work out, Christy Lee. Like, I like what he's doing, his topics, but his vibe, and I just don't think our vibes would really be very simpatico. He's like, today we're going to work. Esoteric warrior, flat earth. I'm Bro Sanchez. I don't know, man. I don't know, Christy Lee. Yeah. Roll by Saturn says, fuck no. Christy Lee, I go with my instinct. See, I'm weird like that, Christy. Like, I'd rather sit here and talk to, like, Morgan. I'd rather talk to Morgan Triscom, like, from Canada. Like, he's in a room in Canada. I find him infinitely more fascinating than, like, Bro Sanchez. You know, I'm just not vibing it. I'm just not. How would that even go, Christy Lee Dolls? Today I'm welcoming a white boy, esoteric warrior. And he gonna discuss flat earth and the black Illuminati, the boule. The boule. I don't know. I'm just not interested in that, Christy Lee. I'm just not. Sorry. I'm weird like that. I just am. Like, you'd think I'd be different. Like, I'd want to come up. I'm like, oh my God. Like, he has like 800 people listening to him, like, at a time, sometimes more. That's a lot of people in a live chat. But either way, it's just too much for me. I don't think I'd be welcome there. Like, I used to live, like, in Philadelphia, right on the outskirts of Philly for, like, you know, some years. And occasionally I would, like, just take a walk through, like, North Philly. If anybody knows anything about North Philly, Kensington and stuff, Kensington Ave. And I would, like, go stroll through North Philly. That's probably what it would, like, feel like if I was on Bro Sanchez's show. Like, one of those strolls I would take through North Philadelphia. It's like, you're going to let me come through, but I know I'm not really welcome, you know? That's the kind of vibe. It's not comfortable for me, you know? I just don't think it would work out really well. Just saying. Christy Lee says, oh, you'd be welcome there, Z. Yeah, okay, Christy Lee Dolls, because you know. Yeah, I'm going to take advice from you. Christy Lee, listening to women who, like, look like you has really never worked out for me. It's kind of got me in a lot of trouble. Like, oh, we could just do this. Just come this way. Next thing I know, I'm like, you know, like I said, I'm in North Philly and, like, the sun's going down. And I got cars, like, you know, like lowrider cars with, like, more expensive rims than the car itself, like, following me with the bass drop. I don't need that, Christy Lee. I don't need you leading me to destruction. I'm not going to do it. I'm sure you'd be welcome there, Christy Lee Dolls, looking like you. See, that's the thing with women, guys. They're going to project their experience onto you. Because I'm sure the whole world just bends for you, Christy Lee Dolls. I'm sure it just bends to your whims. Oh. That's not my experience, Christy Lee. I can't just like walk around, like bat my eyes and then have things, just magically be accomplished for me. Oh, what happened? That's not how my world works, Christy Lee Dolls. It's very different than that. So thanks, but no thanks. I don't think you're going to see me on Bro Sanchez anytime soon. I'm not sure he really wants me there. Just saying. Right, Ruled by Saturn says life is easy for some people. Especially for Christy Lee Dolls. Life's easy. I should also say, no, Z, I work really hard. How dare you? It's insulting. Give me a break. Yeah. I could go off on it, but Bobby Knight's here, though. Bobby Knight says I could pull up on his show. Much love, Bobby Knight. Night God. See, Christy, I got the invite to Bobby Knight's. And I know Bobby Knight. Like, I don't mean I don't know him personally, but I know his material. I know his work. He and I could probably, vibe, do some good content and stuff. Yeah, Calvin's laughing. I could probably get along well over there. But I don't think Bro Sanchez could quite, get down with the Z thing. Maybe we could, but we would clash first. I just know we would. It'd be like a scene, from some gangster flick. Like I'd roll up with my peeps. Bro Sanchez would have his peeps. There'd have to be some static first. I'm just saying. Bex is laughing. She's laughing. Producer says, does Bro Sanchez eat carpet? Is that what you're saying? I would say no. And I would guess that our friend here, Bobby Knight, I don't think he's eaten carpet either. I could be wrong. But a lot of the strong black men, they know not to go down and eat box. Like they just know it's not a good move. A lot of them are familiar with the ism, the pimpism. They know not to go down on it. I don't know, Bobby. I don't want to speak for you, Bobby. Maybe you can come up late. No carpet. Wait, huh? Yeah. I don't know, Bobby. I'll drop the link in a little bit when I get my panel open. If you feel like coming up, maybe you could let us know. He says, wait, no, I take that back. That'd be interesting. All right, before I get myself in any more trouble, let's go into our hashtag science segment. And then we'll get the open panel going in a little bit. But it can't be all fun and games here. I got to bring you guys some kind of, semi-educational material. But we know it's not science. It's hashtag science. It's the part of the morning where Z basically brings you the clown news that the mainstream media is presenting to us as so-called science, which I think is getting increasingly more ludicrous and laughable as time goes on. And the funny thing is, the average person, man or woman, is just lapping this up. They think it's science, as it's just hashtag science. All right, let me get my music up so we know which segment we're in. Here it is. Here's my music. And of course, what else are we going to talk about in the hashtag science segment other than hashtag space? Because, guys, they're ramping up this goofy space presentation more and more with their fake moon landings, their fake everything. It's a joke. Let me get into this. I'm going to drop the invite, the StreamYard invite in the chat if you guys want to start coming up. You might have to wait a few moments for me to get through this article, but start getting people in the backstage. Anybody wants to come up and chop it up with Z, let's get started. So this article is entitled SpaceX launched 4 more astronauts into space. Here's how much it gets paid. This comes from the Aerospace and Defense something. It just says Aerospace and Defense. I don't even know who wrote this article. WSJ. Anyway, let's get into this. This is Saturday morning before sunrise. Elon Musk's commercial space company, SpaceX, sent 4 astronauts on its Crew 7 mission off to the International Space Station from Kennedy Space Center. You know, which is so funny, guys, because they say it's his commercial space company. But meanwhile, he's apparently bringing crew up. He's shuttling crew up to the International Space Station, which is not commercial. It's not private. From Kennedy Space Center, which again was built with public funds, run by public institution, public bureaucracy, and etc. So what is it, guys? Is it private? Is it commercial? Based on commerce, like it says? Where's the commerce here? Or is it public? Or is it both? Like pretty much the entire control structure that we see? They used to call it fascism, guys. Uh-oh, my music. I hate when my music fucks up in the middle of my spiel. Again, production value. Here it is. Where was I? So what is it, guys? Is it a private SpaceX company or is it the publicly funded NASA? Or like I said, does it even matter anymore? Because we have, you know, we're supposedly existing in a laissez-faire capitalistic free market system. But everywhere I see government restriction, government regulation, crony capitalism, government bailouts. Hey guys, remember Too Big to Fail back in 2008? Oh, I know the economy's crashing and all these big, huge American companies are going to file for bankruptcy. But don't worry, the government will just give them shitloads of money. Okay, so the government's deciding which companies to prop up and which ones not, which ones to license, which ones to not. And you think that's capitalism and you have the balls to say that SpaceX is a private commercial space company? Yeah, right. Give me a break. Weird. Let me keep going. Where's my article? Wait, why does it tell me I need a subscription to read this article? Let me see if I can pull it up here. Where is it? Here it is. Come on, internet. All right, here we go. Saturday morning. It's really not going to let me read this, is it? Saturday morning before sunrise, Elon Musk's commercial space company SpaceX sent 4 astronauts on its Crew 7 mission off to the International Space Station from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The launch was a success. The first stage booster of the Falcon 9 launch vehicle returned to Earth. See, that's the other big thing about SpaceX is like, apparently they discovered how to get that Falcon 9 launch vehicle to return. You see how it like lands with the, with the booster. It looks like it's like levitating and stuff. Which I don't know. Some people say it's just, a rocket launch like set in reverse. But that's apparently the big innovation by Elon is that it's launched. It could launch you up, but then the vehicle can return and they could use it over and over again. Blah, 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 blah. While the second stage carried the Dragon space capsule into orbit before separation, the Dragon capsule is now on a 30-hour flight to rendezvous with the space station. So apparently it takes 30 hours to get to the space station, which they say is 250 miles above the Earth's surface. Interesting. All 4 astronauts in the capsule hail from different countries. So that's the new thing. It's because it's private, right, guys? So it's not just NASA. So because we just say it's private, you can bring in all these other people, like from the US, Japan, Denmark, and Russia. The crew is slated to conduct scientific research related to human space exploration. I wonder if they're going to be screwing. Remember that other article we read about Elon Musk and space sex? And the perils of like fucking and potentially like, inseminating a woman in space based off all the radiation. Maybe that's what they're doing. Hey, if that's going to happen, send me up with one of these Dutch women. Because there's a woman aboard this one. I wonder if she's the Dutch one. I wonder if they scraped her. I mean, I've never been to Amsterdam, but I've seen pictures of that red light district. Hey, Elon, if you want to get me up in space, I'll do some, let's say, research on human space exploration and biology. If you're going to do some of that sex research, get me up there with one of these Dutch broads. I'm all down with it. What do you think, Bobby Knight? You think they can get your ass up there? Anyway. Quote, the Crew 7 is a shining example of the power of both American ingenuity and what we can accomplish when we work together, said NASA. Right, but I thought it was SpaceX, so why is a NASA guy talking? And why do you keep telling me SpaceX is a private company? Makes no sense. Administrator Bill Nelson, in a news release, says, by partnering with countries around the world, NASA is engaging the best scientific minds to enable the bold missions, and it's clear that we can do more. We can learn more. We can work together. Which is funny because I'm looking at a picture of this crew. It looks like the most ethnically diverse crew I've ever seen, So are these really the best minds, or are you just trying to get, a diverse crew for the photo shoot? Unbelievable. Let's continue. The U.S. had been unable to launch crews into space after the space shuttle was retired in 2011, but SpaceX restored the launch capability in 2020. Oh, thank you, Elon. They had to retire that space shuttle, and now we have Elon with his Dragon capsule. Unbelievable. And it's continued to launch astronauts into space for NASA without major incident. Thanks, Elon. Saved the day. In August 2022, NASA awarded SpaceX a $1.4 billion plus contract for 5 flights. Geez, that's a lot of money. It's funny, guys, because I don't know. India apparently just went to the moon for $75 million. Why is it costing you guys $1.5 billion just to go to the International Space Station? Don't you think it'd be a lot more to go to the moon? I'm just saying. I mean, you didn't bring people there and stuff, but it's the same thing, same technology. Which is funny because apparently India went to the moon for less money than it cost to produce Hollywood movies about the moon, which is weird. Like, that makes sense. Let's continue. That means SpaceX generates roughly $3 300 million in revenue from each flight. Really? Right. So SpaceX is getting paid by NASA to shuttle astronauts to the so-called space station. You see how they do it, guys? This is just called money laundering. Anybody who doesn't understand that. Anyway. For that money, SpaceX has to carry astronauts to space and, of course, return them to Earth. Right. Private companies flying for NASA are relatively new. Yeah, we know. The original contract awarded designed to build public... No, it's skipping on me. It's not that I can't read, guys. The article's skipping on me. Yeah, design to build public-private partnership at NASA goes back to 2014 when Boeing was awarded $4.2 billion contract and SpaceX at 2.6. Well, what happened to that $4.2 billion that you gave to Boeing in 2014? What are they doing with it? So now I just want you guys to, they're admitting, and I know it's all bullshit, that your public dollars that you pay for in taxes are going to these private companies. 4.2 to Boeing and 2.6 to fucking SpaceX. But yet, kids are dying all over this world from disease and hunger. You can't put out wildfires in Maui in Canada. There's a so-called global pandemic. Cataclysm everywhere. We can't get that shit under control, but your public money is going towards SpaceX and Boeing as they pretend to shuttle people to the International Space Station. Yeah, and you guys are just okay with this? You're just going to keep voting for these stupid politicians and going along to get along? And I have to come on here every single morning and explain this shit to you over and over again. Let's continue. Boeing is still working on its Starliner spaceship that launches. Oh, so now I guess with that $4.2 billion that they got 7 years ago, I guess this is what they're working on. Their Starliner spaceship that launches atop a rocket provided by ULA, the 50-50 joint venture between Lockheed Martin and Boeing, NASA, and the company scrubbed a crewed flight slated for July. Oh, what a shame. But it's likely to occur next March in 2024. So not only do you have SpaceX, you have Lockheed Martin, Boeing, in combination with NASA. Let's not forget Blue Origin and all that Jeff Bezos bullshit. How many companies? Oh, and also that guy, the guy who sent that failed submarine to the Titanic wreckage. Let's not forget about that guy who apparently wants to put a colony on Venus. Boy, space is getting crowded, guys. Boeing struggles and SpaceX success illustrate how far SpaceX has come since its first orbital flight in 2008. Right, because Boeing, which has been producing, aircraft and has been intimately engaged with like flight technology, apparently they couldn't pull it off. But Elon Musk, apparently the super genius, came along out of nowhere and he pulled it off. He can go into low Earth orbit, but Boeing can't do it. Hey guys, I'm going to give you a little hint here from your buddy Z. If space travel was possible, the Air Force would have accomplished it, like in the 50s and early 60s. You wouldn't have needed NASA. You understand that, right, guys? They just would have did it. They just would have extended their ability for flight into so-called space. You wouldn't have needed a fake NASA. You wouldn't need fake SpaceX and, fake Elon Musk. They just would have did it, guys. You get it? It's not hard to understand. And then it goes on to talk about Elon Musk, Tesla, how Elon Musk is the richest person on the so-called planet. And again, how SpaceX is a private company that's publicly traded in the stock market, but of course supported by your tax dollars. unbelievable. And people buy this. People buy into this shit. And they think it's real, guys. It's clownish. That's why I play the clown music when I read these things. And eventually I'll probably get over all this stuff, but I'm just still fascinated by it. Because what this really is, they're engineering a fantasy society for everybody to participate in. So as they've basically disempowered and disenfranchised the average man or woman, as they've gotten everybody addicted to the system, as they've used our psychology and our biology against us, and they've played on our base urges, and they've basically engineered addiction across multiple domains, across the entirety of mankind, as they're doing all this, as they've taken you out of your sovereignty, your God-given agency and accountability, as they've done all this, they've presented a reality to you through a screen, through a mass media, mind control, thought matrix paradigm. As they've done this to you, they're giving you a false reality. They're defining a reality for you that goes against all of your observations, your senses, your ability for critical thought, reasoning, logic. They're presenting a reality that's completely false, a reality that's an inversion, and they're just expecting you to accept it. And guys like me and others like me open our mouths. We're basically trumpeting a message. The message is, wake up. You're not nothing, you're not insignificant, you're not useless. You're not a cosmic accident. You're not an evolved monkey, man. You're divine. You're empowered. You can think. You're allowed to think. You're allowed to have thoughts contrary to what you're being told. That doesn't make you bad. There's no such thing as a thought crime. You're allowed to think for yourself. You're not wrong when you realize that somebody's lying to you, no matter how powerful they are. A lie can never be truth, no matter how often it's told, no matter how emphatically it's told, and no matter who tells it. A lie will always be a lie. There's no point at which a lie can cross over into truth. It doesn't happen. No matter what they tell you. As they try to engineer a relativistic mindset where everything becomes relative, not only science but morality. As they engineer a relativistic morality and ethos, just remember, it can never be real. Just saying. Just saying. All right, everybody. Let's move on. God, sometimes getting through those space articles is very taxing for me. It's extremely taxing. Let's get you guys up here. Come on, somebody come chop it up with me. Don't be shy. Just fucking come up. Yeah, I might make fun of you. I might belittle you. I might throw you in the back. Just come up anyway. It'll be a better process for both of us. Everybody's so embarrassed, so sensitive. Links in the chat. If you think I'm a moron, come up and tell me I'm a moron. I'll let you do it. I might not let you stay up here for like an hour and tell me I'm a moron, but you can get it out. I've heard worse. I've heard a lot of things. Karen B herself called me a shithead. A shithead! Like I said, I've been called worse. Is Z a shithead? Heidi, am I a shithead? You could be honest with me. I kind of think I am a shithead. I'm like the guy on the playground that you're like, oh, he's a shithead. Or like that guy at college. Guys, I'm the goofy guy. I'm the guy running around. You're like, I don't know what his deal is. Then you're like, oh, he's just a goof. Oh, that guy's just a fucking goof. What are you saying, Nuba? It's pretty good discretion. Heidi says, haha, Z, embrace it. So Heidi admits I'm a shithead. Okay, thanks, Heidi. I'll take it for what it's worth. So what? I'm pulling on Karen B's pigtails. She's not having it, though. You guys gotta understand, Karen B's never... somebody like Karen B, like the cool chick, you know? Like Karen B was like the cool chick. As she was listening to like, I don't know, Deftones and like 9 Inch Nails, Karen B and I are probably like a similar generation. I knew girls like Karen in high school. They were just way too cool for me. Trust me, the Karen B's in my high school weren't looking at Zetetic Warrior. I was like a nothing in their world. I was like, oh, who's that guy? Karen B was like listening to 9 Inch Nails, Deftones. She was that kind of chick. I wasn't into that stuff. There's no way I could have been like hanging with her. I would have been hanging with Stavely. And she might have like kind of hung with Stavely a little bit because he has a different energy than me. But Stavely would have been at my table, and he probably would have been able to go over to the Karen B cool kid table. Not Z, though. I'd be sitting there and just like, oh, why don't they like me? What's up with that? So what? Big deal. I'm just expressing my insecurities here in front of everybody. Who cares? Here's Mateo. You're the kind of guy that talks shit over the internet. But when confronted, backtracks. Mateo, you're the guy who listens to a guy who you apparently hate, but obviously love every single morning. You dummy. Give me a break. Who's here? I have a guest in the back. Oh, it's Bex. I don't have theme music for you, Bex. I'm gonna have to work on that. Bex, is it weird that like I find you simultaneously like annoying but like attractive at the same time? Like, cause you have a tendency to kind of like, you know, kind of like monologue like I do, and you're kind of verbose, but like in a way, it's like sort of like soothing in some type of NLP type of characteristic, and in some ways erotic. What'd you say, Bear Jew? He says, I apologize for what I said yesterday. I didn't realize he was going to sing. Oh, because you said something about the song that Rose was singing. And she was here and you're taking it back. Well, that's nice of you, Bear Jew. Let's bring up Bex. Welcome to the stream. Let's hear that voice of yours.
Good morning, Z.
Oh,
Nice to
voice,
be here.
it hits me on a certain level that like soothes me in a weird way. Say something else, Bex. Keep going, please.
Well, it's really nice to be here. Good morning to the chat as well. I really appreciate all the kind words and feedback you gave me as well. It's a real It means a lot.
Well,
really
don't
like-
take it too seriously, Bex. You know I'm going to razz you, but I do like what you're
Mhm,
doing. I like what you say. Honestly, Bex, you kind of seem like you're fucking pretty intelligent. Now, did you say you kind of grew up in like a heady household? You had like a heady parents and stuff that encouraged you to like read and taught you stuff. I didn't have that, Bex. My parents just threw me in front of a TV screen, popped a VHS movie in, and said, "Here, here's a fucking some Doritos and maybe some Oreos. Maybe there'll be dinner later if we feel like it." But I think, Bex, your experience as a child might have been different. Go ahead, bring us into your world.
I would say that I was surrounded by more than the television, but I would say that it was more militant book reading expected. My dad had the philosophy that it took his children more effort to get a C than it did for them to get an A. So we were working harder at not paying attention to get a C. And
Explain.
yeah.
Do you agree? Hold on. Zeddy Life says Z. I thought I was the only one who noticed it. Why in particular, Zeddy Life? What were you the only one that noticed it? Sorry, Beck. So Beck, so what do you explain that? Like harder to get a C than an A? You're saying like it's almost harder to be a slacker. Did your parents believe that like where humans, men and women, are naturally imbued with like an energy towards progress, towards survival, towards success, and that we're almost like engineered to be like lazy fucks? Go ahead. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I would say, actually, to be blunt, and I'll try not to be too blunt here, my dad's a bit of a megalomaniacal egomaniac, that's implied in there, who was more proud of his ability to make children than the children himself. Like, he had that much confidence in his own genetic structure, which I guess paid off, right? It paid off, But my dad is a very, very, he's the kind of man who, sees things as an extension of himself.
So one could, put terms on it. I mean, if you go by the standard medical model, the DSM, the DSM-4, if you want to go, you can probably classify that as, cluster B personality disorder. Some people could say narcissism, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Are these things that you've kind of looked into? I'm sure you have. And what are your thoughts on it?
I have, for sure. And it kind of goes with the territory. I know I don't think I said that my father's a general practitioner. He's a medical doctor, and he was a very good one. He's retired now, but like small town diagnostician, could have been any specialty he wanted to be, and probably started his family younger than he would have, wanted to prove that he could he was like House. He was like House on TV, that kind of, those shows really, really impressed him. He always wanted to have the answer before the cardiologist, right? He wanted to show the cardiologist he was as smart as they were, and he did it, right? He did it. So, I can say all those things about my dad as a man, but it made him a damn fine doctor and a great provider, and definitely provided the kind of structure that I needed in order to not be even more weird.
Okay, so it seems like you're kind of at a good place with it. I mean, it kind of seems like you're willing to, respect your father, honor him for his accomplishments. Look, say what you want about a physician and even a GP, especially a GP. It's physically taxing. You're dedicating your life towards an endeavor, and there's great sacrifice involved in it. But I noticed that it's usually particular personality types that you see in these roles and that tend to gravitate towards, that profession. And I can imagine there was a lot of rewards for growing up in that environment, but certainly a lot of challenges. I often find in those environments with that type of personality characteristics as the head of the household is if there's multiple children, each child tends to fit a very defined role within the family dynamic. Usually the personality type at the head of the household will very often overly generalize their children, and then almost classify them into a role which then becomes entrenched. Then the challenge for the child is how do they extend themselves beyond that role, that's going to, of course, have great influence in the the developing of their own personality. But how does one break beyond the role that was defined for them? Is that anything you could relate to, and where did you fit into that structure?
Well, to be quite frank, my dad actually, you've really put a question out I can answer quite succinctly, which is rare for me. My dad introduced us in rank. To be quite honest, he had 2 wives, 4 children with each wife, and this is my daughter, number 1 daughter, number 2 child, right? And he would say like number 1 son, number 1, my brother was the number 1 son, number 1 child of 8, right? And sometimes he'd be like he might go further into the breakdown, 5 boys, 3 girls. But yeah, we were all introduced in rank. Number 1 daughter, number 2 child, that was me. Yeah, my mom, the first 4 of us are born from 1971 to 77, and the next 4 are born from 87 to 91. So there's lots of fun math equations I used to like riff off of. You could make up those word problems. Anyways, we won't go into it. But yeah, I definitely can relate to that sort of very structured, especially most people's parents divorced in the 80s, right? So there's lots of people have a second family, and yeah, it's in that kind of environment with 8 children and sort of that self-sacrificing martyr.
Let me ask you. Let me kind of take a little left turn based off what you said.
Sure.
This idea of marriage, and you said like how divorce is almost ubiquitous amongst our cultive culture. I see marriage as just a completely antiquated institution that really only serves, the so-called government and the controllers at large. I really see no benefit in marriage for, let's say, the average man or woman, child or family. I don't see really marriages lasting at a high rate. And even the ones that so-called last, they don't really seem to be happy, functional families, if we could define any degree of function. But yet even we still find people compelled towards marriage. I mean legal marriage. I don't mean a union, a so-called partnership. I'm not talking about that stuff. But I see this compulsion towards this institution of marriage. I see no benefits other than benefiting the state, whether it's the state of or other types of, let's say, public institution. But more and more people are doing it. And I want to bring my next guest up. I see you back there, Bobby. I want to bring you up in a moment. What are your thoughts on this marriage? I mean, have you been married? I don't want to, you don't have to get too personal, but have you been married? Have you experienced that? Are you currently married? And if so, tell me how I'm wrong if I'm wrong. Go ahead.
No, I agree. I think that the many people nowadays should probably see an accountant before they get married and get the blessing from their accountant, which just is a sort of real testament to where what the institution serves. Is it financially beneficial for 2 people to get married? That's sort of the question now, I would think most people face. I think personally, marriage, like a mirage, right? I think the real wedding between 2 people is the creation of a child and the bond that makes between them, whether they live together or however however that manifests for them. Again, I'm not trying to say that people would have to live together, but that kind of respect for the other parent. Anyways, not to get into it too much, I do think a marriage originally meant like having a child together. The bond is the child.
Well, I mean, even if we go biblical back, so, I mean, the marriage was the consummation. It was the sexual union of the man and the woman was the marriage. And then, like you said, the joining of the sperm and the egg, which is the energy of life. I'm going to bring Bobby Knight up. Bobby, we talked about this before, about the positive and the negative aspects of energetically between the male and the female, the spark of life. Bobby Knight, we live in a dualistic realm, a realm in which the energetic charge, any energy, this realm appears to be electromagnetic from the top down. It appears to be the only demonstrable force. If we are to collect life, you need the charge of life. The spark of life is that positive and the negative, discharging, creating the charge of life. This realm is dualistic and binary amongst its, from its very nature. And I'm going to bring Bobby up, but I'm trying to find theme music for him. Let me just go with this one. Hold on. Let me bring him up, and then I'll bring it. Bobby, welcome to Z Show. Good to talk to you again, man. How you been?
Zatetic. How you been doing, man? Salute to everybody out there in the chat, to the sister on the panel. How y'all doing today? Can y'all hear me, or is my mic not coming through good?
Good, man. You're good. You're good. I was waiting to see if Bex wanted to kick in.
Yeah, no, I'm well, thanks. Thank you for asking. Nice to meet you, Bobby.
Oh, no problem. Nice to meet you as well. How y'all doing today?
It's good, Bobby. So let's just jump into it, man. I mean, you and I, we've chopped it up. We've chopped it up a little bit in the past, man. We, we've got into it. First of all, how you been, man? What are you up to? Do you still have a strong presence, like online? Or what's your deal, man?
I still been going strong. I've been doing just a little light work with the music going in here and there. I think now that I've taken some time to step back and kind of analyze the whole YouTube situation, I think that I'm gonna sit down within the next month and formulate a more thorough, flushed out schedule on how I want to do the shows, so I can have my more let's say thought-provoking segments during the first half of the week, and just kind of let the conversation lead into whatever else as the weekend approaches. You know what I mean? Kind of let people cool off a little bit from the mind overload, because this shit can be taxing.
Yeah, man, I hear that. I mean, that's why, if you see the structure of my show, I goof around a lot. I try to keep it humorous. I try to keep it light, because to me, it's about embodying an energy. We can talk about alchemy. We can talk about mental alchemy, alchemy of consciousness, of the mentality, where we can take these topics and we don't have to succumb to the energy that they are putting on us. We don't have to succumb to that frequency that they're trying to entrain us in for their thought matrix mind control. We can alchemize an energy. We can use ourselves. I often say in engineering, there's a process or there's a mechanism called a transceiver, right? So you could be a receiver of energy, you could be a transmitter of energy, or you could be both, which is called a transceiver. When you look at things like electrostatics and electromagnetic energy and technology, where one unit can both receive the frequencies but also transmit its own frequencies. And that's how I look at us as men and women. Exactly. Of course, we can be affected by the energy around us, but how do we then tune our frequency? How do we resonate at a level where we're then projecting our own vibration in a real way, not just hyperbole, not just talking about it, but in an actual energetic frequency where we're putting it out? That's where I like what you're saying, Bobby, is about having your content represent you energetically, creating the world around you. Go ahead, take it away.
No, absolutely. And I like what y'all was touching on about the marriage and the whole dualistic principle of our realm, and how, that word has kind of been, demonized into basically a business contract, as you would say, which most things in this realm is kind of being, kind of diluted down to business and financial constructs, which is, for the most part, it's kind of like I hate to use the Matrix thing because it's so overused, but it's it's just kind of like being aware of when you're in the Matrix. Just be aware of that, and the rules that apply here don't apply to the world outside, the real world, or the world that you want to build for yourself. So as the sister was saying earlier, if you choose to get married, if you're of a higher mind, you might want to have your accountant look into that. But if you both of a loving mind and understand the bond y'all created, I think that the losing one another is bigger than any piece of paper can ever bind y'all. So I think sometimes you have to just understand. Cat Williams said it in a joke. He said it perfectly, man. You just got to be in tune with your star player, which is you. And by being in tune with your star player, you attract other star players, and that way you begin to form your little team or your little, duo, to where y'all can make this little duet, and then, bring other bonding creatures or bonded creatures into this realm, your children and stuff, which then solidifies y'all even more. Like the sister said earlier, that's the real marriage. Once y'all start, connecting that way. So I dig everything you up here saying this morning, man, especially on the dualistic principles. I'm a let you kind of piggyback off that because I want to see what y'all think about that.
Well, let's go into this about let's really break it down right here, okay? So they tell us we live in a realm where there's four, I talk about this all the time, but let me talk about it with you, that there's four forces of nature, okay? They tell us that there's gravity and there's a weak nuclear and a strong nuclear force, and then electromagnetism. But I just see a realm of electromagnetism, electrostatics. I
Yep.
see a realm that is, like we said, binary. To create an electrical charge, you need a positive and a negative. You need a dipole. And at some point, there's a depolarization, which creates the energy. But they want to tell us that this is a thermal realm, Bobby. They want to tell us that the sun is a fusion gas ball that's running on thermodynamical properties, but I just see electromagnetical properties. Is that something you care to speak with on the micro and the macro? Go ahead.
No, I definitely agree with you with that. And when you get into the thermal aspects of how some view nature, right? Oh yeah, that's my shit right there. I like that.
Yeah,
When
I'm
you get
coming up.
into
Hold on, guys. I'm doing my I'm trying to find my Bobby Knight theme music. I got theme songs for everybody, Bobby.
Oh yeah, I like that right there. Want to say
All right,
these
go.
my cats from out on the West Coast, man.
It's Jurassic 5.
Yeah,
One of my
Jurassic
favorites.
5. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead. Keep going.
No, but the dope thing about the thermodynamics, right? Once you turn the sun into a gas ball, once you turn the energy that the body consumes into calories and things that need to be burned, then you start to delve into the finite. You see what I mean? So if the sun is gas, that means it's not infinite. It's finite. It has an end to it. That means you got to pay for certain things because it costs. If the energy that runs the planet, such as oil and things like that, if they're looked at as finite and not infinite, like we see now, oil fields replenishing themselves and things like that, then we can throw up a price tag to these things. So the same thing with bodies and the beings that dwell within them, which is the soul, the infinite thing, because the body is like anything else. It's something that comes and goes and has to corrode, but you always get new bodies. The infinite thing, like that oil, that electromagnetism, that thing that's always permeating. It can never be created or destroyed, so it's always gonna find its way back. And once the human experience understands that, then we'll grow bigger than just a human body. You'll understand the thing inside the body is forever, and prices and price tags don't got to get put on everything. I'm gonna mute up for a second and let you run with that one.
Yeah, right on. I mean,
Give me like 5 minutes.
yeah, do your thing. Well, Bex, what do you think? I like where he's going with this. Is that I think the physics that they give us is a dumbed down physics meant to limit us. I liked where he went with it, where it's actually limiting us on a consciousness level, on a true energetic level. They give us combustion engines. They give us, fossil fuels that must be burned. But a lot of the evidence shows a realm where the harnessing of electrostatic energy seems to have been old technology. If we look at like the work of some of our friends like Mr. Martin Liedtke and others, we can look at these structures and these buildings and this technology, some call it Antiquitech, where it looks like they were able to utilize and exploit the natural electrostatic energy existing in what we call the stratosphere. Some people said it was ether energy, but this idea of this energy, this 0 point energy, renewable energy, or it seems to be old technology, but they present it to us as elusive. And I think Bobby made a good point, is because then they could charge us. If it's a finite resource as opposed to an infinite resource, then you can place an economy over top of it. Go ahead, Bex, your thoughts.
Oh, I just like, seriously, my mind's going a mile a minute. So I love this kind of conversation. First of all, I couldn't agree more with the dumbed down math. My brain as a child was very gifted mathematically, still is, but even then, you know, I could see what I couldn't understand. I didn't even try to learn because I knew there was something wrong with it. Not to sound cocky, but I totally agree with what you guys are saying. And I think that the link between the belief in scarcity, which I had always seen, my background's economics, that's what I did in university. I'd always seen more on the economic level, but when you actually take it to like the macro level of the sun, you know, and the fact that it could die, it actually really does reinforce the concept of a limited everything, right? Because it's the source of life, you know, of all life from how it looks, regardless of whether the physics is correct. So, you know, I really think that limiting our consciousness ties into something I philosophize about, like, is death a part of this program? Like, is death a temporary thing? And I mean, like, were we once eternal, and might we be eternal again, incarnate? You know, I think that's directly linked to this circumcision from spirit, and this belief in science. You know, most of what science teaches at one point was considered a religion called naturalism, right? So, I think it's definitely electromagnetic. You guys have made all the links, you know, it's...
Well, the reason I always say that electromagnetic seems to be the underlying force of this realm that binds particles is because it's the only one that you could demonstrate. Which means when you say things like gravity or these nuclear forces that are supposedly binding particles together, it's their theories at best. There's no evidence for them. So that they're making a claim but providing no evidence. Now, I will say this, is that although I do think electrostatics and electromagnetism is the only demonstrable force, I don't think it could be categorized as, let's say, the unifying force. Because I don't think that it could explain this reality at large. Electromagnetism, to me, can explain this three-dimensional physical realm that we're experiencing. But there's probably, you know, really it's difficult to prove, but one can conjecture an underlying force that runs throughout this entire reality, because I view reality as multi-tiered and multi-dimensional. So I don't see just this physical world as the ultimate reality. I look at things as the astral realm or the etheric realm as other parts of this reality. You know, they could be considered the Trinity. If you look at the astral realm, the etheric realm, and then this prima material realm that we call physical world, to me, that's the Trinity of reality. So I conceptualize reality from a different perspective. From that line of thought, I can conjecture that the unifying force is probably something closer to what the ancient alchemists called the ether. And people can argue over and over again what ether is, but I also don't see light as a particle. I don't think there's anything really to photons. I see light, or what we call light, which is basically a narrow bandwidth along the entire electrostatic or electromagnetic spectrum. We call what we perceive as our visual acuity light, but it's just electromagnetism. I don't see electromagnetic energy as a particle, all right? I see it as a wave. I see electromagnetism as a property. I don't see it as a thing in and of itself. To me, the energy is a property of a medium that is oscillating in a certain frequency. One might call it, you know, a sinusoidal periodic sinusoidal oscillation. which is just what we call frequency. So I conjecture a background medium that some people refer to as ether. And I don't think this electromagnetic energy is something in and of itself. I think it's a property of some type of background medium.
I can
You there,
appreciate
Bex?
that.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that. I was going to say that it's sort of in the language reproduction, right? Whether you're reproducing photographs or whether you're talking about reproductive organs versus creative organs, you know, it is almost like you know, I know people say it's a simulation, but it's almost like could it be a temporary holding place and not a prison because the outer realms is healing or something? Like, could that be sort of represented from our you know, in ourselves as separation from our identity, you know, like that we have this sense of before and this idea of after, but you know, while we're here, we're not sure what's going on. I don't know if you know that the Mormons, I'm not a Mormon, but I know the Mormons have a belief in 3 tiers of heaven: terrestrial, celestial, and ethereal heaven. When you were talking about the 3 realms, it made me think, are we in terrestrial heaven now? Right? Like, I never asked the Mormons that I talked to, is this one of those places now? I never thought to ask. I just assumed they were all afterlife. Just a thought.
Interesting way to conceptualize it. All right, I'm talking to my chatters here. G-spot. A G-spot. Maybe you just don't like the music because you're probably racist. Is that what it is? Let's see if G-spot wants to come up so I could fucking give him a tongue lashing for being a moron. See, Bex, that's what I do. I kind of just like berate my audience. It's like a weird thing that I do. They seem to keep coming back here day after day. It doesn't scare them off. It's almost like they like it. They like when I just berate them. It works both ways. They give it to me.
I often catch your show, but not live. So I've seen your interactions. Some of them.
Yeah, it's good. You know, it could be loving. It could be otherwise. I'm trying to pull something up here in the background. Let me see. Oh, why didn't that come through? I emailed myself something. Bex, I don't have music for you yet.
That's okay. I actually work my past coworker and future roommate, which is quickly happening in a couple of days. He's a musician. I feature a lot of his music on my channel. Maybe I mean, you can pick whatever you want as well, but there may be something in the works that.
Interesting. So wait,
Yeah.
You're moving in with a guy, Bex? Is this a thing?
Well,
You
yeah.
wanna get
The
into
funny
this?
thing is, yeah, that's a funny thing, Z. You know, people say you can't stay at home, and you can't just stay at home your whole life and expect a relationship to appear. But it seems to me that might be happening.
Ooh, you use the term relationship. Go
Mhm.
ahead. See how when I uncover it, like, look how coy you are. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know.
Give us the tea. You know we like the drama here. This is what keeps people listening. Because we could break down the fundamental physics of this realm, the lies of #science and academia all day long. But sometimes you just need to talk about, you know, this kind of stuff. What's going on with you there?
It's true. Well, he's a good friend from work. He actually the first work husband I've ever had. Not that we meant for that to happen per se, but we just gelled as a team, right? We just get each
All
other.
done. You're being
Yeah.
cryptic. Come on, talk plainly for the listeners at home. Work husband gelled. You know, I bet you guys gelled. Come on. So this is like a thing, huh? What's going
It's
on here?
been completely platonic up until now, to be honest. I left work at the beginning of the summer. I work in a warehouse, and at my age, I knew my boss wasn't hiring enough support staff, and I would work too hard, so I just took the summer off. My boss has never fired anyone yet, so game on. She just hadn't hired enough people, and I'm too old to be moving that kind of stuff around a warehouse, to be honest.
Right.
And also I knew that I would show up codependently to, you know, work as a team with my platonic sort of best friend coworker, right? And I was away for a while. Since I've been away, he contacted me because his son and his son's mother are moving back to town. They moved away years ago, and she ended up having another family, and now they're coming back, and they've always co-parented really well. Spent a month of the summer together, and so he's going to actually be. We're sharing him, I guess. He's going to be spending halftime at his son's place and halftime here, and he just wanted to save some money on rent. But as we've been talking about him moving in, because I haven't seen him in a couple months, I haven't been to work. He's sort of indicated that it wouldn't matter which bed we slept in, and maybe we would sleep in the same bed. And I was like, oh, okay.
So wait a second, hold on. So are we to assume here that you have yet to have a physical interaction with him? Is that what you're alluding to? So I'm just wondering. So I guess you're looking at it as like, hey, so you're saying, hey, if the physical thing doesn't work out, big deal. Like you can still kind of cohabitate, but like no hard feelings. Or are you just putting all your eggs into this basket that it's just going to be simpatico? What's going on here?
Well, I have no expectations because we're such good friends, and yet I know he wouldn't have put that out there lightly, right? He's just not. It's just not his style. So, yeah, he planted a nice seed, and I guess we'll just have to see where it goes. Like I just know that. It does seem sort of old-fashioned in essence, right? So it could just be people, doing what everyone does in this modern day, and testing the waters. But
Right.
I feel like it's it feels more serious than that right off the bat. Like,
Well, Bex, how do you respond to the comment from our friend No here on screen? He says, just make sure he covers his rent before he cuddles.
That's very sound advice. That's like
Are you a sugar
blessing.
mama, Bex? Are you moving into your sugar mama stage of life where you got to watch out for these loafers? They're going to come in and they're gonna crawl up underneath you, and next thing you know, I'm just saying, what do I know? Hey, let's I don't want to put you on the spot, Bex. So let's kind of like break the ice up a little bit here, and we'll let Bobby give a couple minutes to do his thing, and let's play some music. I want to play
sure.
because Uncle Rick reminded me that Rose 777 and I don't know, Bex, have you seen Rose 777 on my show? Do you know who she is? Have you seen her lately?
I don't think I have caught her. Sorry to say.
Gotcha. Well, if you see like a really Jewishy type of girl here who's like a super jappy type of chick, and that's Rose. She's like,
Okay.
one of them. They stick out. You don't necessarily have to see their horns. Sometimes they just open their mouth and Well, anyway, Rose is my good friend, and we collaborate and we do music together, Bex. So, it's not Jewapalooza, Metaphysician. I have the most racist, fucking anti-Semitic chat that there is. But anyway, Rose and I do music, so I want to play our latest release, Bex, if you allow me to do that.
Yes,
so,
let's get it. Jewapalooza is fucking nuts, by the way.
So, Bobby, you know who Dionne Warwick is? She was a great singer.
I sure do.
So she has a classic, That's What Friends Are For. So anyway.
That's what friends are for.
Exactly. Feel free to sing along, Bobby. Bobby, do you know who Rose 777 is and Crow 777? Are you familiar with them?
I am not. I believe I'm about to be, though.
Gotcha. All right, well, now you're going to hear my friend Rose sing. Oh, and I'm on backups, by the way, guys, just so you know. But it's really all about Rose.
Man,
Get it. But we like to have fun here, Bobby. We sing. We just like to get an energy going. It's goofy as fuck. I know it's bad, guys. I know they're not signing me up for the next Sinatra, but let's have fun with it just to break it up, and we'll chop it up after the song. Much love, everybody. Let me make sure I'm all lined up here. All right, Rose and Z, take it away.
And I never thought I'd feel this way. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm glad I got the chance to say that I do believe I love you. And if I should ever go away, Well, then close your eyes and try to feel the way we do today. And then if you can remember, keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for. Well, you came and opened me, and now there's so much more I see. And so, by the way, I thank you. Oh, and then for the times when we're apart, well, then close your eyes and know the words are coming from my heart. Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for. In good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for. Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for. Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for good times, for bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for.
Yeah, everybody, coming at you. Rose 777 and yours truly. You know what it is,
Not
guys?
mad
It
at
goes
that.
back.
Not mad at that at all.
Right on. You know what it goes back to, Bex and Bobby? Wait, what the fuck is that? Blackpink. Rose, did you sing Blackpink too? She might not want me to play that. That's funny. It goes back, guys, to what I was saying about the energy, right? Like, okay, like it's goofy. It's me and Rose, and we're singing, right? And it's stupid and goofy, but like, it's about transmitting an energy, and like, that's our voice, like our vocal cords. What greater expression of man and woman of their energy than using their voice, singing, melody, music? You know, all the music's now all digital and it's all auto-tuned, and you know, what happened to people just singing, expressing themselves? And then also, it seems like people had better voices in the past. Either they were better at expressing themselves, like Dionne Warwick was just one of amongst a bunch of people with amazing voices in the past. So they're just, now you don't see that anymore. What happened to that human expression?
I could tell you what happened to that part of it. Me being a musician myself, my father being a musician, the one thing that I notice about people of the past being able to sing and people now being able to sing is that nobody today tries to find the uniqueness of their voice and sing like that. You know, for instance, Mick Jagger, Freddie Mercury, Ron Isley, Isaac Hayes, Barry White, Al Green, Tina Turner, Shaka, all these people could sing, but just by me running off those names, you can clearly in your mind hear distinctive voices to all of these people. You understand what I'm saying? Like, not like nowadays, it's like, what's the difference between listening to Backstreet Boys and NSYNC? You know what I mean? Or listening to Chris Brown or somebody else, or listening to this rock band or that rock band. It's like everybody sounds the same. Nobody has uniqueness in their voice and knows where to go with it. Like I had to tell somebody this. They said, well, Barry White was a baritone. I said, yeah, but he hit high notes. They were just in a low tone. You see what I mean? When that dude was going, oh, like that's his high note in a low frequency, and you understood like that's Barry on the mic, that's Al Green on the mic, that's Michael Jackson, damn, that's Prince, damn, that's Cyndi Lauper, damn, that's Sting, that's Phil Collins. Like they voices was so unique. It's like they could sing within their vocal range. They didn't have to try to sound like Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey and not like none of that stuff. So that's the one thing I see now. People don't try to find a quality of their own voice. They try to find this mythical singing voice, which don't exist. Just find what make your voice sound good.
And if I can draw the analogy to comedy, because I think it ties, a lot of things together here. When I started amateur comedy, which I didn't really go past, but I live on an island, so you just kind of, you might go on to the odd pro show that comes on the island. And I was blessed to do that. But I learned at that time that people who sing together, their heartbeats synchronize, right? So I would imagine more feeling behind music or more connection between people allows for a different frequency or a stronger vibration and a bigger effect on everything. And comedy, I think, actually kind of, at least in a censored world of one voice, right, which might be manifested in this lack of, musical originality, also in intellectual voice in the realm. And that being said, I think that comedy is actually extremely powerful at sort of filling that gap at this point in time, even though encouraging anyone to sing would be, it's easy. You can do it in your car. But comedy, actually, I think spontaneously laughing together and, even to the point of applause, I think that it really alchemizes and probably syncs heartbeats and energies in a censored world on a musical level.
Well, I like where you're going with that, and a lot of it goes back again to the expression, the self-expression, the artistic endeavor. And song seems to be part of the human experience. The human experience appears to be communal. They put us in societies. Society appears to be a construct. The more natural state of man and woman tends to be a family, a community. And what do you see in the rituals that have been time honored is that song and music go in. And look, when you gather for someone's birthday, you sing happy birthday. Everybody just does it. When people gather for, so-called religious ceremonies, which is really just spiritual ceremonies co-opted, what do people do? They sing, they use their voices. You can see it throughout time, using our voice to, in some way, resonate with each other. And I like what you said about syncing it up with that heart frequency, really, because I would like back to what Bobby was saying is that uniqueness that they had is because they were expressing themselves in a deep way. They weren't using their minds to do it. They were using their heart, their beingness, their emotions. That's why they're able to transmit and transfer and communicate emotions. They were expressing themselves in a very unique way. And they had the ability to do it, and that's why they stick out. Everything's now homogenized. Everything's all smashed together. But before we move on, Bobby, I'm trying to find your YouTube channel to drop the link. What's your channel name? Why can't I find it?
It's called Bobby's Night. Let me see if I could post it in the back for you, maybe.
Yeah, let me see if I can get. Yeah, let's see. Because it keeps showing me the basketball coach Bobby Knight every time I try to put your.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's why. Because of the
I
way
found it.
it's spelled. Yeah, I spell it. I got it with a different spelling. Yep.
Yeah. No, I found it. Let me get it up here, and I'll drop the link to your channel.
Yeah, man. I like what the sister just said about, you know, combining those voices and creating that harmony. You know what I mean? Because, you know, harmonic resonance and cymatics is another thing that I'm like really into, like studying how sound vibrations manipulate matter itself. You know, and once you get into that, you know, like I'm starting to see how like a perfect C note or like a regular C note creates this flower of life in a, you know, in a pool of water and things like that. You know, it's real interesting once you get into the laws of cymatics and how, you know, sound and vibration and stuff manipulate matter.
Let's get into it, man, because I'm very interested in that. I don't know if you know that about me, Bobby, but I'm a sound scientist, so I have a
dope.
I have an advanced degree. So in my former life, well, I am an audiologist, just non-practicing. So I was a hearing specialist in the healthcare field, and I have advanced study into sound, into acoustics and things like that. This is a particular topic that I'm into, and I like where you went with the cymatics. I mean, it's a buzzword that gets thrown a lot around the truth community, but I don't think people really understand why there's such an interest in it. Because to me, the concept of cymatics, and which is basically showing how frequency, in particular acoustic frequency, which is basically mechanical energy, how that type of energy can form into structures and complex structures. And to me, Bobby, it gives an example. I was talking about ether a little bit before. To me, it's an example of how this whole realm might be organized on the metaphysical level. It shows how how frequency and energy, when presented to a certain medium, which I just call ether, can produce form. It goes against the particle physics and a standard model that they give us, and it's an example. It's a demonstrable example of how frequency, which is energy, which is basically the same thing, can create complex physical structures. So yeah, let's go into it, man. Let's go into it. Floor's yours.
Oh yes, very, very, very much so. It's a professor out of England back in the 60s or the 70s, I believe, named Professor Laithwaite. He did a series of experiments on BBC back in the day, British Broadcasting, and it's hard to find now on YouTube, but basically he was doing a lot with cymatics, showing different cross sine waves, frequencies, and what he was doing was showing he had a cymatics machine, but it was manipulating like this bowl of sand. And he was like, you can see rivers and oceans and mountains and hills. And I remember I was so young watching this video. I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Because as I'm watching these frequencies go through this cymatic machine, I'm seeing this bowl of sand form into a world. You know what I mean? And it's blowing my mind because I'm seeing the rivers and the valleys and the peaks and everything like coming to fruition. And he basically explained like these laws of cymatics, these acoustic waves, this construct around us, this thing that actually impresses on us and creates this function of ours. Like science would give it to us as the holographic universe, right? But by giving us the holographic universe, you it's like kind of taking away the laws of cymatics and really what cymatics is doing, even though holographic is true in a sense because we're all light. But how does that light then come into fruition and materialize into materia, the resonant frequency, that heartbeat, that sound that goes through everybody? And once I got to really understand the cymatics, how sound and frequency and vibration manipulates matter, creates matter, hold things into a constant shape and form, is real interesting. It's something that's like cannot be explained in 5 minutes, but for anybody that want to dive deep into it, I guarantee you will go into a mountaintop, not a round rabbit hole. It'll take you to a place you probably never thought you'd been before.
Yeah, man, I'm liking that a lot. It's endlessly fascinating. You know, this idea of frequency, vibration, energy, which is all basically the same thing. I got another guest in the back. Where's his music? I need to be quicker on my music the way I have it organized. I see you back there. I'm trying to pull your music up. It's funnier that way. I wanted to ask you, Bex, on your channel, are you going to be doing open panels and stuff? Like, how's that going to go?
Yes.
All right, so we're going to do an experiment here, Bex. I'm going to turn the show over to you, and I'm going to let you handle Bobby and my next guest. All right, and you're going to kind of like take over as like co-host here. Is that something you're okay with doing? Throwing you into it. You all right with that?
Yep.
All right, cool. Let me introduce my next guest for everybody. What the fuck is my shit? Bobby, do you remember Axis Rap Blood? Are you familiar with Mr. Rap Blood?
Axis Rap a lot?
Rat Blood. Axis Rap Blood?
No, I don't know who that is. Where is he from?
Interesting. I bet he knows you. He's from the under region somewhere. He used to be a Satanist, but now he's basically more of an omniist, as we can categorize him as an omniist. The guy knows a lot. I think he wants to contribute to this conversation. He's way into sound, frequencies. He's into all kinds of stuff. And
that's what's up. Let's get it, man. Shout out to the Satanists, man.
All right, I'm going to bring you up. Well, omniist. He gets mad if you call him a Satanist, but he does dabble in Satanism. But overall,
don't get mad at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't want to get the Satanist mad at you, Bobby. It might not be a good idea. Let's bring him up. All right, Bex.
Yes.
I'm gonna watch you. Let's see how you do. You're gonna be co-host for a couple of minutes. I gotta go drink some water and stuff. Rap Blood, welcome back to the show. Much love, homie.
Yeah. How's it going, Z?
Hi, Axis. It's Bex here. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, Bex.
Salute, Rap Blood. Salute.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the Z Show.
Yeah, well, sometimes I'm welcome to the Z Show. Other times I'm not so much. But anyhow, you guys were touching on stuff that I do research and development on. Frequency engineering for manipulation of emotions, states of mind. Also, I've went as far now as to use various frequencies in dream technology through imagery to influence dreams. And the ether that Z was talking about is what we call the field. Uninfluenced particles would be the closest thing that I'd be able to describe it as in a quantum mechanic type way. And once those uninfluenced particles are influenced with a thought energy, they manifest. And you can also do that with frequencies.
That's right.
They have a practical resonance that can, through music, different like 521, 430 seconds, and then your standard 440A, create and invoke certain feelings, such as anger, adrenaline rush, sadness. Well, I take it to the next level, and I'm able to use sound to manipulate different states of mind, and like I said, dreams too. And you can also
very dope.
Yeah, you can also pull out of the people call it the Akashic records, but it's just a field, a common field of energy that fluctuates all around it. You can pull new inspirations, ideals, kind of like Edgar Cayce did, or Tesla, and you can tap into that, and you can feed off of it and pull that information within yourself and start developing new ideals and concepts.
Cymatically, what
Yeah.
would be a good way for one to experiment on themselves with something like this? No, I'm being I'm being real.
It's you probably don't know my backstory.
I really don't. I know they told me I don't want to get you upset. He said the word Satanist, so that don't offend me though. So I'm just letting
No,
you know.
no, I'm an omnist. I use
I got you.
each and every religion and philosophy to me as a tool.
And I'm kind of on that parallel with you, my brother. I
Mhm.
don't shun the positive or the so-called negative. It's all energy that's here to be utilized. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And whether I'm using Satanism one day, Hinduism the next day, or Christianity the next day, they're all just tools, references, tools, frequency, energies of that deity.
Mm.
Just
Yeah, I often thought
influences.
that. Oh, sorry, Axis.
You're right.
I
Go ahead.
often thought that that if any one group of any one legion or religion on the planet had achieved enlightenment, they wouldn't be here. So my pursuit was always to get, I assumed everyone had a piece of the puzzle. And I wanted to posit to you guys, I know Z was saying earlier that he didn't, that something about simplifying the physics of that it's been given to us simply, but also I think he said something about protons and neutrons and those sort of being an overcomplication. In my research into the dictionary, which is where I find a lot of facts, in the 1828 dictionary, there was only electrons, right? Does that fit into any of the frequency work? Would that make any sense to what you researched there, Axis or Bobby?
Of course. I mean, in quantum mechanics, that you have your fundamentals in quantum mechanics, and then you have your quantum entanglement, which is what they developed into D-Wave, which I haven't been able to get a hold of the interface for a true quantum computer. But I imagine what you could do with frequency and a quantum computer in a state of superposition, as far as influencing particles and field,
Facts.
would be inconceivably just beyond conception of the mind. If I could get a hold of something like that, that would be working in the area of a god or a demigod.
Yeah, you talking about manifesting it in materia in real time.
Yeah, through influence of
Through influence and vibration. I got you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I think
frequency.
I think photosynthesis might actually come into play as well once the sound is in motion. I think that we see photosynthesis as something that only plants do, when if you just look at the linguistics of it, you've got the light, you've got the exposure, you've got the information, you've got the matter, that kind of like how the atom, what is it? The atom splits, the atom behaves differently once it's split when you're not looking at it, or isn't there something in physics? Like, I'm sorry if I'm dumbing it down. But I feel like
the double slit experiment is what you're referring to.
Yeah.
I'm talking more entanglement, spooky acting at a distance.
But that's where I was going to take it. That's where I was going to take it, was like on the outskirts, like sort of where we couldn't see. Could there be an opportunity for the light and the matter and the frequency and everything?
It show you that in nature, right? I don't mean to cut you, but it kind of show you, because when you said photosynthesis, you got things that photosynthesize, you got things that lunar synthesize, like growing a nightshade, right? But then you had this thing that's like the brother Rap Blood just said, when you talk about interweaving, you talking about the fungus world and the bacteria, the thing that supersedes it all, right? That people don't really get into. That's the underlying presence of this whole realm, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like the same thing into the energetic world. Getting into it, right? It ain't really about the light or the dark at that point. It's an interwoven mix.
Exactly. And then when you go to from binary and divine geometry, which is basically the language of God, the handwriting of God, to quantum entanglement, which is a 1 and a 0, 0, 1 in superposition, then you've opened up the realm of all possibilities at one conceivable moment. Whereas in binary, you've got ones and zeros only. You apply the geometry to that and the frequency, which delivers the energy, and then that manifests whatever it implies or whatever you've implied on it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big difference in the world of superposition and binary.
Mm-hmm. Does it relate at all to a trinary? Would the next stage at all be a trinary?
No.
No?
Your ones and your zero. This whole plane of existence is binary. Ones and zeros with sacred geometry built into everything from a tree to a leaf to a blade of grass to the stars, the heavens, the micro to the macro and fractal. You have a repeated binary sequence. Once you get into superposition, which is what they're using with the D-Wave, you have superseded binary and you're in a state of entanglement, which is every conceivable possibility being brought together once it's introduced into a qubit. It's infinite. And a qubit is a processor chip that is in superposition that is kept just above absolute zero in a supercomputer.
Interesting. And a measure of height, no? Of ancient times?
Only for only for measurement, only for sacred geometric measurements, such as the speed of light built into the height of the pyramids and stuff. That's just encapsulated knowledge contained within geometry, symbolism, and architecture. Masons are real big into that.
Interesting.
But they all resonate.
So that's about as chaotic as a program could get, because I know like computers are not good at random number generators, right? They have to tie that into, I'm sure coders have gotten better at helping a computer be random, but it sounds like every possibility possible is the only way a binary system could represent chaos or randomness.
Well, it would be in superposition, yeah, because a sequence of 1 and 0s is the only perceivable way to break down to the fundamentals of this reality. But once you get into superposition, you have broke the 1 and 0 restraints of this reality, and now you're in an entangled position, and you're able to supersede the fundamentals of this reality. That's what's in a D-Wave computer. It's called a qubit.
Can you give examples?
Yeah, absolutely. They started out with 1 qubit. The brain works at about 7 petaflops, 7 to 9 petaflops, depending on the variables of different humans. Well, they surpassed that. It was around 2016, using superpositioning and qubits. Now they're up to 500 qubits. 500 qubits would be asking something like, what are all the variables and the divisions of a single number? And within a matter of instantaneous response, it would give you all possibilities of every fractal nature of that number that you.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's how far they've gotten. And I use frequencies. Like I said, I'm doing dream manipulation now. And
now, I don't mean to cut you.
Yeah.
Is it out of the realm of possibility when people, for instance, talk about quantum computing and possibly it being a gateway into alternate universe or putting people in another dimension.
Absolutely, absolutely, because a state of superposition has access to the fourth dimension, whereas living in a binary world of 1 and 0, we can comprehend and, in a sense, simulate a 4D existence, but only in concept. With a quantum computer, you can actually pull the dimensional, that dimension, the fourth dimension, out of that superposition. Then you're using frequencies that, once they're introduced to a binary plane of existence, can't be seen, heard, but they can be felt.
That could be
And they
felt.
can, yes, and they can also influence.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you then, like, and this is just a belief question, opinion question. Do you think that if it's being done now, that it's been done before sometime in history? Because I'm of the opinion or belief that quantum computing is in line with, let's say, what somebody would perceive time travel would be. You know what I mean? Because from my understanding, dimensionality is kind of like along the same parallel as what somebody would think a time traveling would be. You kind of get where I'm going with that. So I feel like once these things become introduced, they get reintroduced. Like when I look at certain structures throughout, I guess, our ancient world and our world permeated now, like certain churches, certain buildings, like pyramidal structures, certain cathedrals, with certain type of pipe organs and things with them, and certain other instrumentation that's missing. I tend to ask myself, was this building or was this place used for some type of quantum computing, and it's being given to us as religion and all of this stuff?
Yeah, there's nothing new under the sun with the concept of that, and everything is cyclical. It comes to a point, it decays, and then it like rebirth. Everything is cyclical: the sun, the earth, the moon, stars. Time within itself. Not time is in a clock on the wall. Time is in the moon being a short count, the sun being long count, and there's cycles which are best described in Hinduism as yuga cycles, and they're precise. And with that, you have kind of a resetting of knowledge, humanity, even the human state of existence. But there is remnants left, even from the monolithic age, of various technologies that we're just now starting to stumble across.
Definitely.
So yeah, I agree with you totally.
Somebody in the chat said Lattice Corp is using quantum frequency manipulation for weapons.
Yep, the crystalline. Crystal holds a lattice structure in subatomic. Instead of it being a kind of a measurement of degrees that are fluctuating, a crystal has continuous, repetitive lattice structure to it. It's very unique.
And basically that lattice structure is was being influenced within the so-called body, the crystal matrix.
Yeah, that's why you have your quartz watches, quartz amplification. You can also bend light with crystals, spectrum of light. Yeah, crystal is a very unique structure within the subatomic particle world, and it also contains a unique property. It can amplify energy.
Hmm.
So the crystalline structures can amplify energy. I'm learning here. I'm sorry, sis. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. No, it's perfect. I was just going to say that our amino acids are all the protein, all the amino acids that are required for protein synthesis in the body. It's all crystal, right? They're all crystalline compounds of such of such and such structure. At least that's what my dictionary says. A crystalline compound, blah blah blah, right? So we're made of crystals.
Well,
We're a
that's what
lattice of crystals. Yeah.
they're just now discovering that there's a type of uh, crystal particles that are in the brain itself. So there are crystalline particles in the brain that contain a lattice structure that allows the brain to work and function the way that it does with synaptic firing and region.
Mm-hmm. I could add to that, just that I've recently learned that it's one of the main metals that they see as being associated with consciousness is a magnetite. And in our brain, we have magnetosomes that are these magnetite, the magnetite that's forms itself into crystalline, into crystalline structures, but of all different, of all different facets, right? Different numbers of sides. And the article I was listening to said that, there's a huge chunk of the population that just doesn't have that much magnetite in their brain. Whereas I actually envision more the idea that it was uncharged, sitting there undusted, dusty in the brain, for lack of a better way of putting it, right? Maybe lacking in diet or in elements around us. But I still just my sense is that it's dormant more than non-existent in most people. Have you?
Oh, I agree. Yeah, absolutely. And we're left kind of in the dark unless you really deep dive and you get to brush arms with different types of people that have access to different technologies, different types of computers other than your standard home computer or recording studios. And you're able to, through frequency and vibration, just like when the Tibetan bowl is used, it opens those pathways up and revitalizes and charges the magnetite in the brain. Yes.
Neat. Yeah, I think we're told about. Welcome back, Z.
Yeah, right on. Good job, guys. All right, let's wrap it. It's almost 9 o'clock. We'd like to keep it tight around here. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for always, contributing to a good show. I appreciate it. I'll just say, I don't, necessarily agree with everything that was brought up in terms of the quantum computing and things like that. But I do like the discussion. I think it's high-level discussion, and it goes beyond the norm. So I definitely appreciate it. What does the panel say to like the real, I call them the churchianity people here who still think Yahweh's God and that the Bible's the divine word of God, who really don't like these discussions and they just want to say that, we're basically antichrist and otherwise. Any thoughts on that?
All knowledge that you can receive and that broadens the mind is healthy for the mind. Any expansion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree with that, and I think that I think we'll one day find out that a lot of what people believe in these letters, the YHVH, I've seen other code for other gods. No disrespect to people. I think it might have something to do with the different families of the different tribes of the Bible. I think they may find that that YHVH is actually a code for a specific group of people, and there's another code. I don't want to get the names wrong, but I know I've seen other names for gods or demigods that, again, I'm not of I don't have enough religious background to say, but I do think that we'll find that they're going to find out there's more science behind there's more metaphysics behind their religion than they think.
I agree.
Right on, everybody. Right on. Good stuff. Bobby, any final thoughts before we cut it off? Can you guys hear him, or is it just me?
No, I can't hear him
I
either.
agree.
Either way. Well, Bobby, if you're talking,
Okay.
we can't hear you, man. You're muted. Either way, much love, everybody. All right, guys. Let me do my
All right.
closing.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Thanks so much for
Z.
having me, Z.
Thanks, Bex.
What a
Thanks,
treat.
everybody.
Right on. All right, guys. That will do it for another show, another books. Good stuff. Look, you churchianity people, much love, but you just come here with the same energy day after day. You're unoriginal. Like, your dogma is tiresome. You're around these communities for what reason? I don't know. You seem to be clinging on to some pre-indoctrinated belief, likely because you're scared. You may just be of low intelligence, really. But go ahead. I mean, you guys are welcome to say what you want. You just look like clowns and fools to me, as you try to disparage me and really make very little in the way of salient, coherent points. Most of you are clowns. The other thing is, I realize about you churchianity people is you're the ones who present with the most disjointed, the most dissonant energy of almost anybody. So what does that say about you? That's the energy that you bring. That you, as you espouse the virtues of Christianity, you're the ones that are bringing the most demonic, hateful, and destructive energy. What does that say about you guys? What's Hard-Hitting say? He says they act demonic, but want to point fingers and say, that's the bad guy. Yeah. What's that make you? Good? Hard-Hitting coming in with the Scarface drop there. Exactly. What's that make you? Good? You're not good. You're only good at hiding. Where's my Scarface music? Where is it? Here it is. It's so interesting. The so-called Christians in this community and the example that they evidence for everybody. You guys are the worst people I come across on here. And that's saying something, because I've been on here for thousands of hours now. I've been exposed to all kinds of different ideologies. And you guys are the worst ones. You point the finger. Point the finger and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. Well, say goodnight to the bad guy, huh? Because you ain't never gonna see another bad guy like this. What's that make you? Good? You're not good. You're just good at hiding. Not me. I always tell the truth, even when I lie. Okay? So say goodnight to the bad guy, because I'm a bad guy right here. Say goodnight to the bad guy. As Smith says, I'm promoting Satanism. You're so dumb, Smith. See, the problem with people like you, Smith, is you're unaware of the subtleties of this existence. Let's use Tony Montana as an example. Tony Montana was presented as like, you can look at him as like evil incarnate, right? Oh, he's a drug lord. He kills people. He's a bad guy. But you all missed something about our friend Tony Montana, Scarface. Are you still there, Bobby Knight? I see you in the back. Are you still there, dude? Yeah, he dropped off. See, Smith, idiots like you who were unable to think, you missed the subtleties in life. Scarface was a hero because when he was faced with a moral dilemma, because he knew that if he didn't do the hit on that one witness that was going in front of the UN to testify against the drug cartel, he knew that if he didn't do that hit, it was his ass. And when he was faced with hitting the button and blowing up a mother and her children in order to get the hit off, he decided not to do it. And he knew it was his own ass in that moment. He knew he was dead if he didn't pull that hit off. But he didn't push the button because he knew that on this plane of existence, there is a moral line that cannot be crossed. Whatever objective morality may be, there's moments in life where you make decisions where you truly damn yourself and your soul. And Tony knew in that moment, if he pressed the button, that he would have been damning his soul. And all the money, all the yayo, all the Michelle Pfeiffer pussy, and Michelle Pfeiffer pussy is top level pussy, make no mistake about it. All the power, none of it was worth his mortal and earthly soul. Why would he damn his soul to this realm? Tony Montana knew it. Tony was a hero. You're just an idiot, Smith, because you don't understand the subtleties of this realm. You're just the fucking moron. Clinging to your Bible because you're not intelligent enough to realize that there may be a greater truth beyond the deception that was given you by the so-called controllers. So you keep being a moron. And I'll keep being the bad guy. So say goodnight to the bad guy. Smith. Say goodnight to the bad. I told you. Not sanitation, sanitarium. I told you. Goofball. I have to come in here online each morning and deal with morons like you fucks. Smith W. and idiot Mr. Miyagi, who still thinks Yahweh's God. Yeah, you keep worshiping that bloodthirsty monster, that fallen demon. You keep worshiping your Yahweh. Good luck with that. Yeah, Mr. Miyagi. LOL. Unhinged cringe. Mr. Miyagi, you watch me more than anybody, dude. You follow me to different channels. You're here every morning. You're like in your early 50s. You're a fucking loser, dude. You're a fucking loser. Likely you're fucking gay. You're uncontrollably attracted to me and you can't stop being here. Because I'm everything that you can't be and you want to be. Because I put it all on the line here. Yeah, and you love it, Miyagi. You fucking love it. You can't get enough of it. Mr. Miyagi, how often have you masturbated to the sound of my voice? Do you want to admit that to my audience here today? Mr. Miyagi? Loser. Yet you fucking people. Like you, Salty Siren. Like one of the biggest cunts I've seen online in a long time. But you can't stop being here. You can't stop being here. It's hilarious. You are a loser, Miyagi. You're hopelessly and utterly attracted to me. It's disgusting. Are you in touch with it? Not sure. I'm wondering, Saturn, Ruled by Saturn says they like the abuse. Emmanuel says Tony killed Manny for smashing his sister. Yeah. Tony wasn't down with that. She says, I haven't been here in a long time, but I won't come back, fucking weirdo. Yeah, whatever, Salty Siren. Have fun with your life being a fucking degenerate cunt. Mr. Miyagi says the transliteration of the word Jesus is Yahweh, Savior, the Anointed One. Yeah, you might want to try to read that again. You might want to look into that. Try again, Mr. Miyagi. Don't worry, Smith W. After your divorce, you'll come talk to me in a different way. We've seen your presentation, Smith. It's all right. I'll let you slide, Smith W. I'll talk to you soon in the future. We're gonna check up on you in 3 to 5 years, Smith W. We'll see how that's going for you. How that little legal marriage of yours is going. Looking forward to it. I'm telling you, Rule by Saturn, they do like the abuse. Like, they think they're giving it to me morning after morning. Which is so funny. Like, I want you guys to really think about yourselves, Mr. Miyagi, Smith, Salty Siren, to come to a place each morning and express the things that you express. Spend your energy in a place where you obviously don't agree with. I want you to really think about your lives, what that says about you, the energy that you embody. I want you to really think about that. Because I could just block you morons, but I don't. Because I like to show you for the morons that you are. Yeah, Rule by Saturn says Smith is miserable. He's obviously fucking... Smith W., you realize everybody could see that you obviously hate your life. You appear to be in the beginning stages of schizophrenia, if not further along. I actually feel bad for you in terms of that. And you come here and you project your bullshit on everybody, my audience, and likewise. Yeah, Rule by Saturn says these people are not well. They're really not. Yeah. Either way, let's end the show. Hold on. Let me get rid of my Scarface music. It's funny how Al Pacino was both, The Godfather and Scarface. Yeah, Miyagi's going into Yahshua. Do you know it's not Yahshua, right? It's Yeshua. You just put the Yah in front of it to make it sound better. Anyway, whatever. I don't need to get into religious semantics with the likes of Mr. Miyagi, who's obviously disingenuous and will show no ability to engage in that discourse in any rational way. Goofy. All right, let's get out of here. Let me get my camera back on. It's already over 9 o'clock. We just can't be here all the time. I like to keep my shows tight. We're at the 3-hour mark, 3 hours and 3 minutes. I started a few minutes late this morning. 3 hours is good for me. It might even be too long. Who knows? 2 hours might be better. Just the natural process just seems like 3 hours. It brings it to a point of natural conclusion. So why not? It's always fun, guys. What's today? Today's Tuesday. We'll do it again tomorrow, if the gods are willing. Yeah, much love. I agree Music Holds a Secret was a good show. They're always different. I turned a little bit of the show over to Bex because once I get to a certain point in the show, Sometimes I just like to carry the show all the way through, but there's sometimes I'm like, oh, I'll just let other people talk. In case you guys haven't realized, I value the open discourse here. People get butthurt about it. I've seen it, you know. People will try to build allegiances with me. They'll have a presence here. And guys, if you think I'm talking about you right now, get out of your feelings. I'm probably not. I'm speaking in generalities. I'm always going to defer to the open discourse. If you think I'm going to protect people, that's not going to happen. People need to know this when they engage with me. Is we're going to hold truth up as primary, always. A lot of people got in their feelings, like with the Trouble and Tribune thing. We have to talk about these things, guys. We can't just accept things. We can't get into groupthink. We can't get into this clique-like mentality where we all get you know, and purport ourselves to be above and beyond the truth, because we're not. We need to hold each other up to the same scrutiny. Yeah, hard hitting. My Cash App still works. I appreciate you saying. I don't put it up here because I don't really want to monetize myself. I'd rather build an audience and then potentially monetize from there if I'm going to go in that direction. I don't know. Maybe people think differently, but I think there's pluses and minuses to taking donations from your audience. I think in some ways it, yeah, like he says, I support every channel you want. And thanks, hard hitting. I haven't even checked my Cash App in weeks, but I'm going to check it. And if you have been donating to me, thanks. But I don't put it up here. It's funny you still have it, that you remember, because I wonder if I start accepting donations from my audience, if that's going to bring me into some self-limiting mindset where I then cater to my core who are throwing me shekels. And I think it becomes self-limiting in a lot of ways. Just saying. So, yeah. Somebody says aesthetic work. I got to catch up on what the Troubling Tribune thing is. Well, we've done other streams on it. There's no need to go into it now. I'm using that as a point to say that if we insulate and isolate ourselves in a community, and then we place ourselves above reproach, above truth, above questioning, above discourse, I think there's going to be a problem with that. I think it's not going to serve us in the long run. Just saying. All right, guys, much love. Adios. See you guys later. See you tomorrow, 6 a.m. You can find us here. We do this from 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time each day, guys. It's a thing that we do. Much love. Peace out. Bye-bye. And here's G-Spot just going to say, blocking the blessing. Hey, G-Spot, can you use your own words, not other people's words? You know, you realize your guru doesn't have it all figured out. You understand that? G-Spot? Anyway, I'll let it go. Much love, everybody. Peace.